Hi there, it's Michelle from CNC Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Zealand, and I'm bringing you another Global Monthly Video Hop. So if you've watched the videos before, you know that once a month, myself and demonstrators from around the world do videos for you based on a monthly theme. And this month's theme is the new In Colours from Stampin' Up's Annual Catalogue. So In Colours are 5 colors that come into the Stampin' Up product range for just 2 years at a time. So every year one of the sets gets retired and another set comes in. And that way, besides the standard colors that we have in the subtles, the brights, the neutrals, and the regals, we can bring in some other fun colors to use for a couple years to spice up your creating. Now, I don't usually buy the In Colours right in the beginning because I just can't afford to buy everything when it's brand new. But fortunately, when I went to On Stage in Brisbane in March, I was given some cardstock and some gems. So I do have those items here, and I'm going to show you how to make a simple card just using cardstock and gems. And you don't even need to use the gems, just the cardstock is sufficient. So the 5 new In Colours this year, let's see if I can get the names right, and you can see I've already done some crafting with them. This is just a sample of them. So this one is the Strawberry Slush. This one, I'll go the way I'm going to actually use them, is called Timid Tiger. It's a lovely orange, which is good because I'm pretty sure we only have Pumpkin Pie in the normal range. And then we have Darling Duckling. So that's a yellow. Sorry about the shadows. It's stormy here in New Zealand, so I had to turn the lights on. So you can sort of see, it's kind of a, I'm trying to get there, focus. So it's a different yellow. So we have some bright yellows, Daffodil Delight, and then we also have the Lemon Lolly, and then this one, Darling Duckling, is just a different shade, more of a, I don't know if I'd call it a mustardy shade, something like that. And then the lighter blue is called Cloud Cover. So obviously it would be quite good for doing cards, the cloud or the sky in your cards. There you go. And then the darker blue, it actually looks black in the catalog. It's called Secret Sea. So I think it's more of a dark blue. I mean, here I guess you might think it's black. Whoops. But if you put it with the other blue, it looks more of a blue color. So these are the 5 new In Colours that we have. And then also I'm going to show you how to use those. And also there's these lovely, what are these called? Flat pearls. So there are all 5 of them. You just can't see the 5th one because of the packaging. There we go. So there's all 5 colors. So you can see, and this one looks more of a gray-black, and that one looks more gray. So it just depends on what products you're using, the different colorations you get. Now, before I forget, in the description below this video, I will have the names and the product codes for everything I use today. So if you want to purchase any, you can just go to my online store if you're in New Zealand and use those product codes. If you're not in New Zealand and don't have a demonstrator, have a look at the stampinup.com website or choose one of the demonstrators that will be having their link below. So in the description, there'll be links to all the other demonstrators that are participating in this month's video hop. So once you're finished watching mine, you can go over and get other inspiration for In Color ideas with projects for this month. So those are the items that I will be using. And I have this time made a sample card, but as per usual, I'm going to change it up. So this is the simple card I've done using all strips for each of the In Colours and just simple words on there. And it's just a birthday card and a few of the gems just to highlight this background. So the stamp set, and I'm going to use this same stamp set, is the Layered Thought stamp set, which I was lucky enough to be given that at On Stage as well. So this time I'm going to make a thank you card. For this one, you can see that I've actually embossed the In Colors. So I use the Turtle Texture embossing folder. Let's see if you can see that. There you go. And that comes with the Turtley Sweet collection of products. So I'm not going to use that one this time. I'm going to use a different embossing folder, but that's what I used on that sample card. So it will be listed below. And for the inside of this card, just if you're wondering where the words come, hoping your day is the best ever, was from the All Zipped Up stamp set, which is an online exclusive. But this time I'm going to use another online exclusive called Plastering Paint 3D embossing folder, and I'm going to see how that looks with the In Colors there. So I'm also going to change up the color background cardstock slightly. So I believe that was basic gray, that background there. And I did the stamping in that same color, and that's in the Memento. But this time I'm going to change it up a bit. So I'm going to go with the black card base. So for the front and the inside of the card base, here in New Zealand we use metric. So this is an A4 card cut in half, making it A5, and then you score down the center at 10.5 centimeters to make a A6 size card. For the inside and the outside layers, I've got two basic white piece of cardstock. That's 10 centimeters, and I believe it's 14.3 centimeters that way. So we've got one for the inside, one for the outside. I haven't decided what I'm going to stamp on the inside of this one, because this stamp set is mainly just big words to put on the front to really wow your, make your card a wow card. So I might leave it blank or put something else inside. Now, to do my layers, I could just stick them straight onto this white cardstock, but if you have a look, I've embossed, but I haven't embossed the white. So I need something to stick my layers onto. So I've gone with a smaller piece of white cardstock. This piece could be any color because you're not going to see it. It's going to be covered up. So any color you have, if you have more of another color or an old color that you're no longer using, cut it down for that. So for this one, I made it 9 centimeters smaller. No, not 9 centimeters. 0.9 centimeters smaller. So almost a centimeter smaller on all sides. So this is 9.9, and this would be 13.6. So 13.6 by 9.9. But you can make it whatever size you want. Just make sure your strips are the same length. So the strips, this time around, I made them slightly skinnier, if you have a look. So those strips, I just cut them at 3/4 inch, which I'm not quite sure what that is metric, but I just did that just to throw this card together. And I believe the length on there was the 14.3. So the length on the strips is 13.6 centimeters, and then I made them 1.5 centimeters wide. So this is going to be slightly different, where you're going to see some of the card. Actually, I told you wrong before. So this card, because the back was completely covered, you could have any color backing. This card, I'm actually going to have gaps. So this cardstock will be seen. So I went with white. So what I told you earlier, scratch that. So if I want it to be completely covered, I would just make these strips a bit wider. So because I want to have a little bit of the gap showing, I'm going to start at the sides and then move my way in. So I want to put these all the way I'm planning to glue it down. Okay, so for here, it's best to use your liquid glue because that way you have wiggle room. So the one side, let's get my liquid glue going. Okay, come on. Yep. Okay, I paused it briefly because I didn't want you to hear me banging my glue. So I'm just going to start on one side and put the strip right up to the edge Don't worry about any excess glue. You can clean that up later. So I'm putting it right up to the edge, and to check, you can turn it over, and then if it's over the edge, you just simply slide it down. Being liquid glue, you should be able to slide that down and just edge to edge to cover it up. If you have any sticking over, you can always trim it off later. Okay, so that's one side. And then the opposite side, I'm going to do the end piece there, because this way I can try to get the gaps evenly distributed. It may or may not work, but I can try. And that's why it's handcraft, because not everything is perfect and not everything comes out exactly the same. So I'm going to set that on the edge there. And again, I'm going to turn it over and just check, just using my fingers to slide it right up to the edge. So it's just right to the edge there. So those are my two edge pieces. And then I'm going to put my centerpiece in. Now, if you want to be very picky about it, if you're, that way inclined, sometimes I just do it on the fly. You can actually measure your piece. So as I said, this was 9.9. So the 9.1. Did I say 9.9? 9.1. So that was 9.1. I seem to be saying lots of things wrong. So 4.5 is about the center of 9. And so I just, is that right? 9. Oh, sorry. I marked it at 5. Silly me. I can't measure. I did think that looked a bit off. I should have just gone with my gut instinct. So if you want, you can mark the center of your card if you want it to be exactly centered. But again, using the liquid glue, we can move things around. So we will just put some glue on here. You probably don't even need that much glue. And then I'm just going to sort of center. I sort of centered that. See the line? I've sort of centered that over the line, and because it's liquid glue, I can move it around. Sort of center that, and then just make sure your edges are okay. And then you just fill in the gaps with the other two pieces, leaving a little bit of wiggle room. So if you don't want to have any of the background showing, just do your pieces bigger. So these were 1.5 centimeters, so you could probably get away with more like 2 centimeters, or I would say probably 1.5 centimeters. So I'd say probably 1.7 or 1.8 size strips. But so see how there's a bit of a gap there? So because I've got the liquid glue, I can just gently maneuver it. Probably doesn't look like it's moving much on the screen, but to try to get even lines. So you got two ways of doing this. And that's why I made my sample card. 1, to see that it would work, and 2, so I could change it up for you. And again, if you want it to be perfect, you could measure between the gaps and put some, notation of where it needs to go, and just turning it over to make sure you don't have edges going too far on either side. So that's our card front done. Where's my bone folder? Now I don't have to push it down too hard because I'm actually going to emboss that, and that will push it down and make sure it stays in place. So before I do that, I'm going to stamp, because I'll do that off screen. So again, I'm going to emboss it with the Plastered and Painting Embossing 3D folder. Now this folder is quite interesting because the top, not sure if you can quite see that, has different embossing than the rest of it. See? So we have some like edges here that are different than the center. So when you emboss, you decide how you want it to look. You know, do I want it to give me that kind of a look, or because it's a big folder, I could even do it this way and have everything going kind of like sideways. That almost looks like waves. But if I do that, I get some of that different texture on the edge. This one, I'm going to put the words this direction, where my other card, it was portrait. So I think I'm going to go with this, and I think I will go ahead and just randomly stick it in the center, so I got kind of that wave look going on there. And remember, some of it will be covered by the words, so I will do that off screen. I'll emboss that off screen. And it's a 3D embossing folder, so you got to make sure that you don't have too many plates in. The best way to do this is with your base plate number 1. And it even explains here how to use the 3D embossing folder. It's a base plate. You put your embossing folder with the folded side heading in, and then you put your 3D embossing plate number 4 on top. So that's how I'm going to send it through my embossing folder. That's my sandwich. Okay, and so before I do that, I'm going to stamp. Now I decided I want to do the words thank you. Now this set, this stamp set has big words and then a few smaller ones. So I thought I would try something. Hopefully it works. I'm going to do the words thank in the black Memento. And then I'm going to emboss, hopefully, on it with the white. And I'm also going to die cut this. My other one, I fussy cut around the words. Just because I didn't have a die large enough for it. So you see the words happy birthday. So I just cut around that. Because I thought if I did a white, just a big piece of white, it just would cover up too much. So I'm just going to pop this here in the center, hopefully. Give it some good pressure. Sometimes the ink on a new pressing of a stamp, the ink doesn't always come out right. Because I haven't actually used this stamp. I used the happy birthday, but not the thank you. There we go. Got thank. And I'm going to die cut this with a rectangle stitched die. Hopefully I didn't stamp it too high. And then I'm going to stamp the U on there afterwards. So if you don't have the rectangle stitched dies, there's plenty of other dies that would that you could use. And even some of the, because I'm not sure if that die is still current, but I do know that the stylish shape dies are current. But see, those rectangles aren't big enough. But what you could do is you could die cut half the rectangle and then do the other half to make it a longer section if you want to do that with your word thank. Okay, so I'm going to do that off screen and I'll come back. Okay, so I quite like how that came out. See all that? It's even noticeable on the back with the white. So that came out quite nice. I like that. And I've got I cut the word thank. Now I was going to stamp the word you. I thought I would just stamp it like right there in white, but I'm not sure if it's going to show up very well. So I'm thinking I might do it in black because the heat embossed black might make it pop more. The other thing is I could choose one of the other colors, but I think I'll just try black and see how that works. If it doesn't work, I will just have to change it up. So I'll get my black powder, get it ready. I always have a spoon to spoon it over if I need to. So when I'm doing small projects, I just keep my powder in a little container like that. If it's bigger, I need a bigger tray. So I'm just gonna ink up the word you and see if I can just get, just wondering whether I should just stick it down at the bottom so it shows up more, Yeah, maybe I'll put it there. And we'll see. This is an experiment. Hopefully it works. Always cover my first mark so I don't get powder on it. And then I will just sprinkle the powder where I know the words are. Oh, I think I shook too much powder off. There, so that says U. You can not quite see the Y, but I'm going to go heat that up, bring it back, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so I'll clean up my mess here. So that's why I put it in a little container so I can just shake it back into the bottle. And then I keep these separate. I have different ones for every color that I have. That way I don't mix my colors. Okay, so there. So it's not as noticeable on the video, but it's definitely more noticeable in person. The shiny U does show up. So it probably would have showed up just fine with the white as well. But we'll go with that. So now that we've got all our elements ready, we're going to stick it together. So this is slightly smaller than the front piece of the card front. So we'll just pop some glue on there. Okay. And just try again doing the liquid glue so I can make sure I have kind of an even edge to that. Remember I said I did it like 9 centimeters smaller. And because this is textured, I'm going to go on the back and rub it. As I could see, some of my powder's on my table as well. Get the powder off the table. Okay. Now the idea is, do I want it to go that way up? Or I could still go sideways. No, I still think that looks better. So I could go with the darker at the top, or I could go with the lighter at the top. I don't know. I think I like it better with the darker at the top. So I'm going to do that. Pop that down. Now with that, because it's just a rectangle, see if I have enough tear and tape left. I generally just put tear and tape. If it's not something that I need wiggle room for, I'll do tear and tape. Oh, I did run out of tear and tape. Thought that might happen. Fortunately, I have another stash. I always keep adhesives, extra adhesives on hand, because you never know when you're going to run out. So find the end. And so because I don't need wiggle room on this, I'm just going to do my tape. And I'll do my tab method. So if you've seen any of my videos before, you probably know the tab method. I learned that at a class, probably about 30 years ago. That and heat embossing were game changers for me. Because back then I used to have a lot of ones that I would color, and when I'd color with the pens, it would bleed into the other section of the stamp. But when I heat embossed it, I could then color and not worry about the colors touching each other. Okay, so that's my tab method. Pull up a couple little tabs, make sure you're opening your card the right way, and then you just pop it down. And once you're happy with where it is, so see, there's no adhesive in the center, so I can move it around how I want at the moment. And once I'm happy, then I push on the corners that I know I've taken the strips off. So now it's held in place, and I can just simply pull the bits out. And that's there. Okay. So the inside, I will stamp that later and put that in later because I might stamp on it. I'm not sure. And it's always best to stamp first and then stick things down, because if you stamp and you find that you've messed up the stamping, you can't pick it up. But there's 2 sides to every piece of cardstock. So if I stamp there and find that's not right, I can turn it over, stamp again, and then I can stick it down. So I haven't decided what to put on the inside. But outside, I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals and then add some gems, and we're finished. So, relatively simple card there. Just some strips of cardstock. You could do this with any cardstock. It doesn't have to be the In Colors, but that was the theme for this month's video hop. So I'll just go with, I went with the In Colors. The New In Colors is the theme for the video hop. And so I can pop that there, pop it there. I'm trying to think. I could still go that way, but that, I think it leaves too much. Could even go sideways. Nah. I don't know. I feel like I'm covering up too much of the yellow if I go that way. See, and you're not seeing much of the yellow of those strips, but if I go this way, I'm not covering up much of any of the strips. So I might actually change it and just go that way. But then, I don't know. I think I'll go like that. Put it kind of off-centered. How's that? There we go. Because this way, the paint bit, whatever that's called, what was that one called? Plaster painting is going that way, so kind of makes it look like it's going that way. And now let's just throw some gems on there. I have my pick tool here. I'll just use the adhesive side. And this one here, I just put different colors in different ones because the way they came together, the center of the turtle part. But this one, they're all separate, so I might just go with just some gems, just randomly on there. There we go. I might even put one of each gem on this. You should do your embellishments in odd numbers because that's how nature does things, like flowers and stuff have things in odd numbers. You know, petals are like 5 petals and up there, or 7 and things like that. So it's good to do things similar to nature. So we'll just pop that guy in there. Whoop. There we go. This one I've done 5, which is an odd number, so that works. And that's it. So there's the cards done. So that was using our Layered Thoughts stamp set and the Plaster Painting 3D Embossing folder, along with our In Colors. We've got our gems and our paper. And so that's that one, and good thing I didn't stamp or put the inside in because I've now decided the card is opening that way as opposed to that way. So there you go. And then that's the other card. That one there, same products except a different embossing folder. And there's the thank you. So hopefully, see, you still can't see it. I can see the Y quite easily the way I'm looking at it, but from there, maybe I should have put it over slightly, but I can definitely see it the way I'm looking. So I hope you like those. Let me know which is your favorite of those 2 choices, and make sure you look at the description below so you can click on the links to check out other projects made by demonstrators from other countries. Also, I just want to show you, I might have shown this in a previous video, but that is using the In Color papers. It's an orb. I've actually done a stitching class where I'm stitching the fabric in different textures to create this orb, but this was the demo to see how to put the orb together. And so there I went ahead and I used the 3 of the In Colors and different embossing folders. So that's the turtle one, that's the painting one, and that's the plaid one. But then I just stamped on the edges and put that orb together. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you like these new in colors. Let me know which card's your favorite. Thanks so much for watching. See you next month. Bye.